welcome back to part 4 what if Deku, or what if female Deku, was a sanitized octoling. Part 4. We start off this with the heroes having a meeting. So we start off with Hawks. I ran into these type of sanitized people. They were covered in sanitation, like some type of cleaning supplies that just cleans everything. Wipes it, even. Are you referring to this? As Nezu pulls up a photo of a person that's Izumi in the USJ. Yes, exactly like that. We don't know who she is, or what her goals are, but she's one of the villains that got away at the USJ. We think she may have had a plan in the USJ as well. We don't know why. She is probably still part of the LOV. She could have been doing plans for them. So we must find her and get information out of her. I did find something useful, Aizawa says. And what may that be? Well, I'm glad you asked, All Might. I found this. A recording device. So what? It was at some doctor's office where I was researching on this missing persons report, Izumi Midoriya. As he plugs it into the TV in the room, and the audio plays. Doctor, you called me? Doctor! And then a thud could be heard. And then she wakes up, or the doctor says, "Great, now the sanitation project can begin." As Izumi gets strapped to the chair, all that happened in the first part. As then she gets up saying, "Where am I? What happened to me?" "Oh, don't worry, the side effects are kicking in. You won't remember a thing." I don't... As she starts to fall onto the floor and a thud's heard. "I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget." "Oh, don't worry. You'll be an important person in my plans. But I should take this." And that's where the audio ends. So, Izumi Midoriya was taken. What does this have to do with that villain? Endeavor says. I don't know. But he said something about a sanitation project. And that there would be side effects. And since this was probably a month ago, I doubt they would have sent her as a experimental test subject of some sorts to a battlefield like the USJ. So what I'm saying, whoever this doctor is could be working with the LOB, could be working with some other organization. I don't know. But when I went looking for him, I could not find him anywhere. So it looks like he knows how to cover his tracks. Do we have any clue of where his base may be? We had a small idea, a small facility, out in an abandoned subway station. I investigated it personally. It seemed like everything had been erased. Files, experimentation tubes, everything had been emptied, like they knew we were coming. How could they know we were coming? 1, they had a hunch. 2, they have a spy. Or 3, they just decided to leave locations. Those are my 3 ideas. I doubt the second one, but for the other 2, it could be the latter. But do we have any idea of Izumi Midoriya's location? Or the sanitized villain's location? No, unfortunately not. stop the searching for her for now, and let's focus on the sports festival coming up. Alright, Nezu, but I really think I should go and try to find her. Or find the sanitation villain. It can't be that hard to find her. It may not be, but we don't know exactly where she is. She could be halfway across Japan. She could be heading to another country for all we know. So for right now, let's focus on the sports festival. The UA Sports Festival. Alright, Nezu. I trust your judgment here. And that ends this meeting today. Remember, if you find this villain, or any of the villains that escaped the USJ, make sure to capture them. As the meeting is now adjourned. As the meeting ends, and we go to Izumi, sleeping on a chair, as she gets memories of some sort, of her being hit by an explosion a few times, but can never make out the person's face doing it. As she wakes up in cold, sanitized sweat, as sanitation sweat just pours off her face, touching the ground and converting the ground into sanitation. Another nightmare. Who is that person? I need to find out. As Commander Tartar comes in. Sanitized Commander, I see you're awake. Oh, Commander Tartar, what can I do for you, sir? I need you to go find, or go retrieve this item. It's somewhere near UA, unfortunately, but I would like you to retrieve it. And there'll be another one I'll send you to retrieve in about a month or two. And what may that be? I want you to go in that one, you'll be going to the Wild Wild Pussycats. They have an item that's important to our plan. Or my plan, to be more precise. I'll retrieve the items. You don't have to worry, You don't have to worry, Tartar. It will be done. Oh, and it seems that you are having some amnesia of some sort. Let me help you with that. What do you mean? As a syringe is poked into the back of her neck. As she falls to the floor. As she picks herself up. What was that? That should help with your amnesia and nightmares. It should go away. I'd say give it an hour. Thank you. Ever since I started to get whatever those memories were, I started having nightmares every time I fall asleep. No problem. Now go ahead and go on your journey to go retrieve the item. Of course. As she's stumbling out of the room, as she goes into another room, as she looks over the little balcony, as she sees around 30 sanitation soldiers waiting for commands. Hello, my sanitation brothers and sisters. Today we are going to retrieve an item near UA. I can't have all of you come with me, unfortunately. I'll only have some of you. There'll be a total of 5 assisting me today. That is all. I can't arouse too much suspicion with more than that. I want the rest of you to work on the base. Prepare Tartar's plan to come to fruition, and soon sanitation shall rule the world, as they may think we're nothing more than pawns within a chess game, but in reality, we're the pawns are running the game. As the sanitation soldiers cheer, yeah, yeah, we shall take over the world. As sanitized Commander Izumi, of course, smiles, but shakes her head just to get the side effects of the syringe Tartar poked in the back of her neck off. As she goes to a car, as there's 2 cars there, as Izumi gets in one with two sanitized octolings, and 3 get in the other car. Okay, I'm pulling up the coordinates and sending it to y'all. Meet us there. Sure thing. As the other car is going to head to the location, Izumi is going to make a detour. So where are we going, ma'am? I want to stop by this place first. As it seems to be... why do you want to stop by the museum? I thought you'd be more important about the USJ event. Or the sports festival, sorry. The USJ event was a disaster for the LOV. But it doesn't matter. We don't take orders from them. And the reason I'm going to the museum is there's also an item there that may help with some of my research. Alright, ma'am, we should be there in 5 minutes. It'll take us about 10 minutes to regroup with them to go get the item Tartar asked for. You can tell them to go ahead and grab it. Just stay on the low. Stay on the down low. Of course, I'll send the message to them right away. As they pull up behind the museum, as there's not a lot of heroes around, because most of the heroes in the cities around UA are at the sports festival, which makes it the perfect time to steal stuff. As Izumi gets out of the car with her 2 sanitized soldiers. Okay, I want you to turn off the security camera's audio, every type of security thing in here. And as for the other one, you, deal with the security guards while I look for the item. Yes, ma'am. As they're doing that, as one of them's going through the cameras, turning off the cameras, and going through the files of the museum, as well, their sanitized octoling went to the control room, and just blasted the 3 security guards in there. And Izumi was walking forth to a container that was said to be used in World War II within this history of my hero. Let's see, as she touches it, as the little contained device is covered by sanitation. This is basically a power cell. I thought Khmer Tartar would need this as well, so I went ahead and came here to grab it. As she's carrying it to the car, as the other sanitized octoling comes out with a few other supplies she stole. I'm fine with you taking whatever you need that we could use. Well, I got a few supplies, just in case. Okay. As all of them get in the car and are driving off, as the alarm goes off right after they leave, like 5 minutes after they leave. Yeah, sorry, I can only delay the timer of the alarm for about 5 minutes after we leave. It's fine, we're long gone. As we go to the other sanitized group, going in this building, near UA, with one of them having a assault rifle, 2 of them with pistols. They enter. Okay, what was the thing, what did the device look like? Okay, it's not really the device, more of like a chip of some sorts we're looking for. I say 2 of us take the 2nd floor, and you take the main floor? Sure thing. As 2 of them go to the 2nd floor, the last one's looking through the main floor. But while on the 2nd floor, they find this room, and they find like a control panel. As they're looking at it, you think the chip could be in here? Yeah, let's just look around, take it apart if need be. As they're taking it apart, as they find the chip, okay, this is the item we're looking for. Let's get out of here. As they're walking out, they go get in the car, but before they walk out, they see a hero nearby. Hide! As one of them signals to hide, as they're hiding behind the wall in the building. Is there just a hero looking around? Isn't this an abandoned place? Why is there a car here? Who knows? Maybe the owners of the place came by. As the hero is about to walk off, there's one of them sighs of relief. As the guy looks back around, but the stuff in there could have valuables. If I could sell a lot of that, I'd make a whole lot of profit. As the guy thinks about it, is going to walk into the building. But unfortunately for him, the sanitized octoling that opened the door with the machine gun fills him with bullet holes, killing him on the spot. Okay, let's go before any other heroes arrive. As they rush to the car, get in and drive off as fast as they can. It was one of the few heroes left on patrol. And since it's not a well-known area, not a lot of people go through there, it'll take a little bit before the body is found. As they go back to meet up in their main headquarters, as Izumi brings a capsule of course, for the device, or for their plans, as the other octolings bring the chip to Tartar as well. Good. These items can help me further the process, but unfortunately it's going to take a while, as I've said, for our plan to come to fruition. You said it would be about a year, correct? Yes. But once we get the item from the Wild Pussycats, our timer should be moved up to where it could be launched in a month. Very well. I'll just have to wait until the encampment, because I'm not feeling it right now to go to the Wild Pussycats, and plus, we don't have enough information or their full whereabouts. Fair point. I'll make sure to get the information to you. No problem. As the sanitized commander Izumi goes to turn on the news, as it's the finals for the sports festival for the first years, as it's Bakugo versus Todoroki. But as soon as Bakugo wins, she gets a surge of anger and destroys the TV. Who is that kid, and why does he make me angry every time I look at him? As she gets up and goes to a training room where there's a punching bag, I believe. Yeah. As she starts hitting it multiple times to let out her anger. Why does it every time he pops into my head? It makes me so angry. And then she goes so far and hits the punching bag one last time, where it sends sanitation right through it, as it leaves a hole through the middle. That feels better. I guess I just need to get out my anger. And she gets up and goes to the lab. Now, she sees a couple sanitized octolings working on stuff. How's it coming along? Yes. So, we've managed to create this item, the sanitized blaster. It'll turn the surrounding you shoot into sanitation. It'd make perfect for changing the surroundings into a field advantage for us. Interesting. The only problem is it's going to require your sanitation. No problem. I've already filled something up for y'all. As she gestures to them to follow her. As they walk over, and as she opens the door, there's huge containers of sanitation in them. You can use these as much as you want. I've been doing this ever since the USJ, so I've been piling up the sanitation for a while now. There's also more, but those have been reserved for Commander Tartar. Alright? Yes, ma'am. Good. And make sure you replicate a few of those. We're going to need it to have field advantages. in case the heroes attack us. As long as we keep this place hidden until Tartar's plan's done, it's what we've been looking forward to will come to fruition. Alright. As Izumi walks out, I guess that, and she goes to sleep one more time. As she falls asleep, she doesn't hear any voices or anything for a little bit. Right before she wakes up, she hears someone's calm voice whisper into her ear. "Oh, you're home, Izumi? I'm so glad you're back." As she then wakes up, wondering who that voice was. Well, who was that voice? It was so smooth, gentle, kind. Whose voice was that? As she's contemplating, as she looks around, and no one's in her room, I must have been just imagining it. Hallucinations. Oh well. They happen. As she gets up out of her chair, and goes to turn on the other TV they replaced, as they hear that the hero killer is in the city he's in canon, because I forgot, my bad. So, Izumi is thinking, you know what, I'll take a detour. It would be interesting to meet this hero killer. So, she leaves the base with no other octolings, because they are all really busy working around the base, working on projects that Tartar or Izumi has given them. And she goes to the alleyway where she finds Ida on the ground, Native, the hero, on the next to the wall, and Stain about to kill Ida. So you're the hero killer. As he looks over and sees, who are you? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm the sanitized commander. And I'm just wondering, what's your goal here? As I have been curious on your motives. Still trying to think, what is your motive behind what you do? Although I've got motives of my own that don't involve you, I'm just curious. I'm here to clean up the fake heroes around the society. It won't matter once my plans come to fruition. There won't be a society for y'all to clean up, because it will be cleaned already when my plans come to fruition. As Ida's listening to this, as what do you mean? None of you are in mine or my friends' planned. So I might as well go ahead and put y'all out of your misery. As she touches the ground, turning the area around the alleyway into sanitation, as Stain rushes at her, as she sinks herself into the sanitation, then pops up behind him and hits him in the back. As he swings his sword around, Izumi ducks, but it cuts one of her tentacles on her hair as it falls. As Stain throws some knives at her, as she dodges them, and Stain comes in close and cuts her arm off as it goes flying and hits a wall. As Native and Ida just look at her, as Stain smiles, I've got you now. But then her arm just regenerates out of the sanitation. Stain is shocked, but first he licks the sanitation off the blade. But unfortunately for Stain, the sanitation causes him to go paralyzed for a moment, because he just ingested the sanitation Izumi permits, or gives off. As he falls to the ground. Why am I paralyzed? You should be paralyzed. Oh, it's because my blood is sanitation. If it was just any type of A, B, C, 0 blood, you could probably paralyze me like them. But my entire body has been turned to sanitation. So there's no point in trying to stun me. It won't work. You'll only stun yourself. Then she says, I think I should go ahead and get rid of you. You're no use in further plans of mine, nor in others. You're just a nuisance. As she shoots Stain a few times with sanitized bullets. As Ida gets up and rushes at her, throwing a kick. She puts her hand up and grabs his leg, but not after being pushed back some, as Ida backs up, as he knows one of his leg gear is turning to sanitation, as he quickly gets it off. Well, it's been fun coming here, giving me something to do. After all, I've got nothing to do but be bored for the next little bit. Just letting you know, I'm not letting you live because I feel like it. It's just I can't stay out here for too long. As Izumi goes away, back to her base. As Ida goes to Aizawa a little bit after, like a day or two, saying he ran into the sanitized commander, and that she killed Stain, which throws Aizawa and the rest of the heroes he tells for a shock. And we are going to skip to the Wild Wild Pussycats area, as it's about time for the attack from the LOV and now from Izumi's group. But before that, we're going to go a day before, where Izumi is riling up her men. Okay, we are going to be attacking the Wild Wild Pussycats today, and we're going to retrieve an important object, which will finish up Tartar's plans, and then we'll rule an iron fist. First, Japan will fall, then another country, and then so on, until we cover the entire world with sanitation. As her army cheers, as Tartar is there as well. Yes, with this, we'll be able to rule an iron fist. We'll be able to cover Japan completely by sanitation, and then we'll move on to the rest. The next one after this is Island. As Izumi smirks, as she is going to bring several sanitized soldiers for this mission, in case they get discovered while retrieving the item. She brings a total of, say, 25 sanitation soldiers. As they're approaching, and they're all standing on the same spot on the mountain where Coda would come. Alright, y'all know the plan. But right before they're going to go to the building, they see fire in the distance, as Izumi and several of her octolings look over. So, the LOV is going to try something tonight as well. Doesn't matter. Retrieve the item. As several of them are just rushing down, going to retrieve the item that Tartar requested. As Izumi and like 3 of her octolings stay there on the hill, just observing. As one of them hears a twig break. As she looks around, walking in the direction, as Koda's hiding behind a rock, with his hands covering his mouth. But right before she finds Coda, she gets punched by Muscular into a wall, crushing the sanitized soldier's head, killing the sanitized soldier. As Izumi and her 2 soldiers look over, it looks like I can kill some extra people today, Muscular says. I wasn't planning to lose another soldier this quickly. Oh well, in times of war, casualties emerge. As her 2 soldiers pull out their machine guns and start opening fire on Muscular, who's just using his muscle quirk to block the bullets with his muscles. Interesting, a muscle quirk. As he's rushing at the soldiers. Ah, so you think you can rush them and kill them, eh? Come here. As one of the soldiers comes over to Izumi. As she takes the gun and touches the soldier. As he transforms into a muscular sanitized soldier and grabs muscular. And they are throwing punches left and right, hitting each other, as Izumi is just sitting on a rock, observing it with her other sanitized soldier. Having trouble over there, Muscular? I thought you'd be more of a threat. As Muscular gets mad, as he goes further, as he is surrounded one of the sanitized octoling's arms, as he's just hitting, as barely getting through. As he fully is crushing the sanitized soldier, as Izumi then puts her hand on the ground, as sanitation goes to the ground to the soldier, as the soldier then blows up in a fume of sanitized liquid, ink, as it covers Muscular, as he's completely disoriented, as his body changes a bit, as his body's just changing completely to sanitation. The effects will last for 2 hours. After that, we'll have no control over him. Ma'am, was it wise to just sacrifice that sanitized soldier? Unfortunately, it was. I could have taken him on and defeat him, but I need to save my strength in case we don't retrieve the item. As Koda's just listening to all this, as he's still hiding. As Izumi knows Koda's there, but decides to ignore the fact. Okay, Muscular, this is what you're going to do. Attack 1A, Class 1A, Class 1B, and any hero you come across. Just go on a rampage. As all Muscular does in his sanitized state, just nods as he rushes off. And we go to the sanitized soldiers that are just scavenging through the building while the heroes in the class are too busy with the yellow V, and now Muscular coming into the fray. As Muscular runs into the Wild Wild Pussycats and has a showdown, using his quirk with the sanitation, as Aizawa shows up and uses his eyes to cancel Muscular's quirk, but Muscular is still fighting because he's under the control of the sanitation. But after a little bit, he gets defeated, but not after injuring several of the heroes of the Wild Wild Pussycats and some of the students. And same as canon, Bakugo gets captured. And the sanitized soldiers retrieve the item they were working towards, as they bring it to Izumi, as Koda had run off. As she looks at it. Yes, it was the device to spray everything around Japan. The sanitation, at least. Good. As they're on their way to leave. But unfortunately for them, Eraser had a hunch of if they were going to show up or not. So he was analyzing the sanitation that was permitted from Muscular, as he sees that it came from one location or an area. So what he's going to do in the next part is the heroes are going to search through the area to find Izumi and Tartar's base. That will be in the next part. I hope you all have enjoyed this. I had a blast doing this part, in fact. And part 5 should probably be the finale. I hope you all enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more of this.